almost all the problems with season 2 go back to the writing. There were so many problems with the writing. The writers seemed
like goblins with intelligence scores of 0.
In season 1, there was mysteries to uncover.
When I saw it, he was feeding on that deer, meaning it's a predator, right?
Right.
And it seems to hunt at night like a lion or a coyote, but it doesn't hunt in packs like that.
There was science to explore.
I need to see your compasses.
What?
Your compasses, all of your compasses, right now!
There was adventures to go on.
What are you kids doing with all this?
Monster hunting.
Season 1, 11 sets a radio on fire trying to contact Will. Season 2, they hang out the AV room and talk. Season 1, they're chased by evil government agents. Season 2, they rummage through a dumpster. Season 1, I have to jump off a cliff to save my friend's life. Season 2, I'll sit by my friend's bedside and be his nurse. Season 1, Nancy crawls into a portal that leads her to a parallel dimension and almost gets killed by a monster. Season 2, she stays in a motel room. It takes until the end of episode 6 for an antagonist to show up. When the demidogs show up, that's when the first real antagonist is there. Besides that, we've had the Mind Flayer, who exists as a shadow monster in another realm. He's a big, faceless, abstract creature. He doesn't seem like a real threat. We can't connect to him as a villain. The only way he's really a threat is how he's affecting Will. All the other characters he's not a threat to. It was scarier in season 1 because the Demogorgon could show up anywhere, anytime, any place, and take anyone. That was terrifying.
You know, it can't get us in here.
We don't know that.
On top of that, you had a villain that was physically in front of you, who was a physical threat to you. I liked it more in season 1, when there was an actual guy in a costume chasing the kids around, and then they added some CGI in later. That was a better villain than this CGI shadowy figure in the sky that we could never interact with. In season 2, the lab is stripped of all its power, which was a huge mistake. You see, in season 1, they might electrocute you. They might inject you with so many drugs that you OD.
You're just a junkie. Small town cop who had a really bad week. Took one too many pills this time.
Season 1, they have abused children inside the lab that they're experimenting on. Season 1, Dr. Brenner tries to make 11 murder a cat.
It's reaching out to you because it wants you. It's calling you. So don't turn away from it this time. I want you to find it. Understand?
Yes.
He throws her into sensory deprivation tanks and tells her to contact monsters in different dimensions. Season 2, if you piss the lab off, what will they do? Let's see, they'll take you and they'll put you in a room for a while, and then they'll leave you there, and then afterwards they'll give you a guided tour of their facility, and then they'll send you along your way.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Fuck you.
Let's burn that lab to the ground.
Yeah, fuck those guys. That guided tour sucked, man. One of the biggest disappointments about season 2 is the treatment of Mike and 11. You had these two characters that were the heart of the show, season 1. 90% of all love stories out there are complete and total, just absolute shit. Like this one, where the character has to announce to the audience that she's in love because nothing has happened between these two characters to bring them together.
I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him.
You're in love with him. Thanks for telling us. Thanks for explaining. But Mike and Eleven's relationship develops and unfolds so nicely through the story. That's why everybody got attached to these characters, and you know you did. You know you did. You know, if you're a middle-aged man who came to watch this show for the interdimensional space monsters, you know you got completely attached to these characters. You know you got like...
someone to kiss, someone to miss. When you're away through here, gone each day. To be loved, wow, what a feeling, to be loved. Some wish to be a king or a queen, some wish for fortune and fame, but to be truly loved is more than all of these things. Wow, someone to care, someone to share. Lonely hours and moments of despair. To be loved, to be loved. Whoa, what a feeling.
These characters were frigging golden. This was a rare thing. Nobody in television had ever really tackled this type of dynamic before. There were so many layers to these characters. It was such a good story. What happened in season 2? What did you do, Duffers? What did you do? What happened, Duffers? What did you do with these characters?
You blew it!
You blew it.
You blew it! You had it all and you blew it! And you blew it!
You have this 13-year-old actress who got an Emmy nomination for the work she did on your show. What are you going to do with her character? Oh, let's just put her in a room and leave her there for several episodes and have nothing happen with her character. Great idea, Duffers. Great idea.
Nothing ever happens!
Mike has no arc this season. None. None whatsoever. Character arc. A character starts one way at the beginning of a story and ends up completely different by the end of the story. How are they different at the end of the story than they were at the beginning of the story? That is what makes a story interesting. People change in reality. They grow and change and transform. Characters need to change in stories. And for God's sakes, give him something else to do this season besides just be Will's nursemaid. You remember that character that everyone fell in love with in season 1 because he was so engaging? Yeah, remember him? He's just here this season to drop expository dialogue.
That lab is swarming with hundreds of those dogs. You somehow acquired true sight. This is where the chief dug his hole. This is our way into the tunnels. And if Will really has true sight, I mean, if he can really see into the upside down, maybe he saw that shadow again yesterday.
Oh no, not Mike. What would we do without mediocre introducer of known exposition? Oh no! 11 barely has an arc. She spends the first 4 episodes of the season wandering around the woods, sitting in a cabin waiting for Hopper to come home, watching TV, sweeping the floor, reading files. Wow. This is amazing. I'm so glad I waited 1 year and 3 months to see what would happen with this character.
Me?
You have made me wild and impetuous, just like you.
Impetuous.
People are going to be aghast.
People are gonna be aghast.
The writing season 2 is daytime soap opera level writing.
Well, I'm stunned. I don't know what to think.
Well, sometimes I think I'll never get over losing you. Sometimes. All the time.
Sometimes I feel like I still see her. Like she's still around, but she never is.
Feels like she's still here. I can sense her like I sensed her in that room.
Mike. 11?
You're going crazy here.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm going crazy.
Resemblance. Could that be her?
Our soap opera has a mopey, emo guy who thinks the girl he's in love with is dead or might be dead. Maybe dead, it doesn't matter. What matters is he's gonna be there and then he's gonna walk out of the room. And just as he walks out of the room, the girl he is in love with, the girl he believes is dead or might be dead, is gonna walk into the room. Yes, that'll be dramatic. Congratulations, Season 2 writers. The quality of your writing is as good as this daytime soap opera that you're spoofing. I think a show that was nominated for, let's say, 18 Emmys should be held to a higher standard. Don't you?
Nah.
Instead of Eleven being in the Upside Down or the lab or in some sort of situation that would have made an interesting story, you have her hiding in the woods by herself alone for a month and a half. She disappeared on Saturday, November 12th, 1983. Hopper finds her around Christmas. So for a month and a half, this girl is going to stay by herself in the woods. Why? Did she hear these government agents telling Mike that she was dangerous and think that he would actually believe them? Is that why?
I don't know where she is. And even if I did, I'd never tell you. I would never tell you.
No, it's difficult to accept. The stories she told you were not true. She's a very dangerous individual.
If she contacts you...
After everything that they went through together, does she actually think that he would believe them? That's ridiculous. Did she actually think that because the government agent said this to him that he was going to turn his back on her forever? I mean, I can understand her wanting to stay in the woods for a couple of days until things died down, but why would she stay in the woods for a month and a half? Why didn't she go ask one of her friends for help after a couple of days had passed?
Please, will you open the door? I'm gonna freeze to death out here.
Oh, you're gonna freeze to death? What, in your winter coat? But 11 could stay in the woods for a month and a half in a summer sundress and a flannel. Even with that coat and hat that she had from killing that poor guy that ran into her in the woods, her legs were still exposed. It was at least 32 degrees or colder because there's snow all over the ground. But she's gonna live in the outside woods for a month in this tiny little summer sundress with her legs exposed? That is absolutely ridiculous. Why would 11 do that? Here she is the first night she gets out of the Upside Down, outside of the Wheelers' house. Hide in the woods for one night if you have to, but then after the bad men are done searching the area, go to somebody else's house if you can't get in touch with Mike. Lucas's house and Will's house and Dustin's house are all a bike ride away. She could have walked to anybody's house and asked for help. She could have reached out to Joyce. She could have reached out to Jonathan or Will. She knew how to get to the Byers' house. She'd been there at least 2 times in season 1. Why would she stay in the woods? She could have contacted Nancy. She could have contacted Dustin or Lucas. She had 6 or 7 different people that she had made friends with that she could have left a note for or asked for help. She had a nice bond developing with Joyce.
You're a very brave girl. You know that, don't you? Everything you're doing for my boy, for Will, for my family. Thank you.
Why wouldn't she go to Will's house for help? But I guess she had to stay in the freezing cold woods for a month and a half by herself because the lab just must have had everybody's house surrounded at all times. They must have had Dustin's house and Lucas's house and Will's house. They must have had all these houses surrounded with people constantly, all the time, constant surveillance. That's the only way for this bullshit plot to work.
What about the Russians? What if they come looking for her? They don't know where she is.
Then she can't contact you without us knowing.
Really? She can't contact Mike or anybody else without the lab knowing? Really? Really?
You know those power lines? Power lines? Yeah, the ones behind my house? Yes. Meet us there, after school. When the numbers read 315, meet us there. 315.
She could have taken an Eggo wrapper, written 315, and drawn the power lines behind his house and left that on his bike. She could have gone to the Wheelers' house when no one else was home, looked in the window, taken a crayon or a magic marker, levitated it with her psychic powers, and used it to write Mike a note. She wouldn't have even have had to go inside. She could have done everything outside. You're talking about a character with telekinetic powers. If you have telekinetic powers, it gives you so many more options to do things. There was numerous ways she could have gotten a message to Mike. But she can't contact him without the lab knowing. She can't contact anyone without the lab knowing. Why? Because this is a well-structured, well-thought, well-planned-out story? No, because this guy says so.
Then she can't contact you without us knowing.
I'm glad you're here to tell us these things.
Here's Jonathan picking Will up from the Wheelers the same night Hopper finds her in the woods. Yeah, just look at all these hundreds and hundreds of police surrounding the house. Oh, wait, no, there aren't any. Here's the outside of the buyer's house. Same night. Do you see any police? Do you see any police lights? No. Clearly, 11 would have had numerous opportunities to contact any of her friends to help her. I'm confused with the direction you're trying to take 11's character in here. Is she a rebellious badass or a spineless wimp? She will steal from a grocery store. She will hitchhike and run away to her aunt's house. She will hop on a bus and move to another state by herself. She's completely rebellious and independent. That is her character. But you're gonna make it that she's not gonna answer the boy that she's in love with?
Why didn't you tell me you were there? That you were okay?
Because I wouldn't let her.
Oh, yeah, because Hopper says not to. This whole storyline is
bullshit! Bullshit! Bullshit, 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 bullshit! Bullshit! Bullshit, 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 bullshit! 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 Bull, 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 bull. Shit, 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 shit. Bullshit, 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 bullshit.
Is that all I'm ever gonna get from you guys? Bullshit?
What? Mike?
oh look, 11 reunion. In an entire 9-episode season, Mike and 11 get 8 minutes and 48 seconds of screen time together. They get reunited, Mike screams at Hopper.
Protecting her?
Listen to me. The more people know about her, the more danger she's in. And the more danger you and your family are in.
Oh, what? So I should be thanking you
I'm
then?
not asking you to thank me. I'm asking you to try to understand.
I don't understand.
That's fine. Just do not blame her. All right? She's upset enough as it
I don't
is.
blame her. I blame you. I blame you.
Because, I mean, obviously he would have no negative feelings towards 11. No, none at all. She let you think that she was dead for a year. I'm sorry. That is really unforgivable. I don't believe for a second that all he would have to do is scream at Hopper for 2 seconds and then be completely done with that. The fact that 11 did that to him makes her unlikable and unsympathetic. You took one of the most sympathetic characters on television and made her completely unlikable for doing that to him. That was so fucking mean. He's just gonna direct it all at Hopper because God forbid Mike and 11 should have any sort of interaction this season. Then Mike and 11 have this bullshit scene.
Just be careful, all right? I can't lose you again.
You won't lose me.
Do you promise?
Promise.
Al, come on, let's go. It's time.
And I don't want to hear any crap about, oh my god, this was so dramatic. No, this is not dramatic. This is a scene involving two people who love each other, who have not gotten enough time together, who are about to be separated again due to a life-threatening situation.
I won't go! I won't go!
Listen to me. Listen to me. We have no chance together, but if I'm alone, I can do it. Trust me, I'm in good shape, Matilda. And I know I got a lot of money with Tony. A lot. We'll take it and live together. Just the two of us, okay? Go.
No! You're just saying that so I won't worry. I don't want to lose you. Yeah.
You're not gonna lose me, Matilda. You've given me a taste for life. I want to be happy, sleep in a bed, have roots. You'll never be alone again, Matilda. Please, go now, baby. Go. Calm down. Go now. Go.
Now that was a scene. This...
I can't lose you again. You won't lose me. Do you promise?
is boring. And this is no way, shape, or form the actor's fault here, okay?
Elle, come on, let's go. It's time.
This is written to be a cute throwback to the scene in season 1 where Dustin interrupts their kiss. It's written to be a throwback to the cutesy almost kiss.
Guys, it's Lucas.
Because that's what the story needs at this point. These two characters that have had absolutely no character development need a cutesy little throwback scene as opposed to a scene with some actual dramatic tension between them. 11 goes off to close the gate, Mike stays behind and looks all mopey, and then they're reunited at the snowball. Seriously. Oh my god. Well, now they dance. Yay, yay, rah, rah. They've had so little character development between the two of them all season that this just feels completely tagged on. I mean, honestly, I'm feeling as much emotion here as I felt when Ducky met that complete stranger at the end of Pretty in Pink. Hey Duffers, if you think that this cliched, tagged-on snowball ending is any sort of satisfying conclusion for these two characters to have, then...
You sadly mistaken! Shame on you! Shame on you! Go yourself!
And Joyce's character. Oh my god. You met 11. You know that she was in this lab and she was being experimented on. You know her name is 11, meaning there was at least 10 other kids that they were experimenting on. You met Becky and you saw Terry. You saw what they did to Terry's mind. This lab made you think your son was dead by putting a fake body of him in the river.
You took my boy away from me. You left him in that place to die. You faked his death. We had a funeral. We buried him. And now you're asking for my help? Go to hell.
After everything that they put Joyce through, why in the world would she bring her son here for weekly visits? Why in the world would you take your son here to see the doctors in this lab? Don't you realize that maybe these people would be more interested in experimenting on Will than treating him?
I will never, ever let anything bad happen to you ever again.
No, I'll just take you to the Child Abuse Center of Indiana.
Hey, I'm gonna be there the whole time, so it's gonna be okay.
As long as you're there with him, everything will be fine. Okay, Joyce, sure. How the hell do you know what these machines are doing to him? How do you know they're not electrocuting his brain right now? You can't even figure out which tape goes inside of your fucking VCR.
I'm trying to watch your video thingy, and the tape, it's tiny. It's like it's shrunk.
Oh my god. So why are you bringing him here?
You know, university gives out a degree. This guy's got it.
Oh, I see. He's the only doctor in Indiana.
You want to do? You want to take him back to Chicago?
Well, there's that guy in Boston that's supposed to be
They're all
like
a bunch of quacks, and they'll all just tell you the same thing. It just costs you more money.
Every other doctor is a quack. Why is it like this? Because Hopper says so.
I'm glad you're here to tell us these things.
And she can't contact you without us knowing.
I'm glad you're here to tell us these things.
Stop forcing along this bullshit plot with this badly written expository dialogue and write something that makes sense. So let me get this straight, Hopper. It's safe enough to take Will to this lab to be examined. But this place is so dangerous and such a threat that you have to keep 11 completely separate from society because they can't find out about her? How the fucking hell does this make sense? And my god, I did not even want to talk about this because everybody has discussed this episode so much. Everybody hates this episode. I know, guys. I know. I hate it too. These breakaway episodes that focus on one character are always painful and frustrating because it's just time away from all the other characters. The Walking Dead has done this. 3 episodes about the governor. These episodes always feel like homework. Like you have to watch it, because if you don't, you might miss something that's really important to the plot. This episode did not feel like Stranger Things at all. That's why there's 3 separate sets of flashbacks. You're still watching Stranger Things. You're still watching Stranger Things. I assure you, see the flashbacks to season 1. You're still watching Stranger Things. What if episode 6 and episode 7 had been edited together and cut into 2 episodes where it wasn't one continuous long narrative only focusing on 11 in episode 7?
The spy! The spy! I need to get through!
Whoa!
I need to get through! It's a trap! It's a trap! I need to warn them it's a trap! I need to tell them it's a trap! Fuck! It's a trap! It's a trap! Fuck! 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 Where are you?
That way, the Demidogs would have come up to the gate, and then we could have had a character that said, has anybody ever defeated one of these things before? Somebody like Bob, so a new character who wasn't aware of what had happened last year. And then Mike could say, only 11 has. And then 11 is in a different state, hours and hours away, and they are screwed. The only person who's ever defeated one of these things isn't there. That would have raised the stakes and built the tension. Instead, you have Demidogs coming up. The tension is finally building. Finally building. Finally we have an antagonist. Cut, pause. You're not going to see what happens with that until you watch all of episode 7. Enjoy your homework. Do your homework. Watch episode 7. I couldn't wait for season 2. And I was so confident that the Duffer Brothers knew what they were doing. The adult in me is telling me that...
But it's only a story. It's not real. It's only a story.
No! But the kid in me is sad and crushed.
Son of a bitch.
I went out to face the world again, wiser.
Oh, look. It's been renewed for a 3rd season.
I hope it doesn't suck.
Me too, Bob. Me too.
What did he eat? When they can't get Hobbit!